Greetings, everybody. Good morning. I've had, a couple of requests lately. One viewer asking me, could you do more instructional videos? I guess he's tired of hearing me talk about the cat. And then I had a viewer by this morning shopping in the nursery, and we were discussing issues with growing leafy green vegetables here and the rat lungworm problem that's in Hawaii. By the way, you guys in South Florida got this too, whether you're talking about it or not. Okay, but I had a question about growing cabbages, all right? And I've had people say a lot of things about cabbages every time I bring it up. I still have 1 6-pack left in the nursery. Hurry, you can get it. But you start off with something like this. That's what you need, is a 6-pack full of cabbages. Cabbage seed is relatively inexpensive. I have not found that I needed to use more high-end hybrid cabbage seed or anything like that around here. The two cabbages that seem to work out very well for me are Copenhagen Market and Danish Ballhead. Y'all know these are old-time open-pollinated cabbages, okay? For some reason, they seem to be the bomb around here when it comes to raising cabbage. Cabbage in Hawaii is probably one of the more important vegetables. It seems odd to folks who aren't used to that idea, but you go to any fast food joint around here and you order chicken katsu or pork tonkatsu or whatever, you're going to end up with a bed of shredded cabbage underneath all that fried food because it catches all the grease that drips out of your chicken katsu, makes it look good in a go container. Yeah, the cabbage is used to put underneath the macaroni potato salads here, and cabbage is it's ubiquitous as far as showing up in Hawaiian foods. Perhaps some of the reason for this might have to do with shipping. Lettuce, obviously, would have to be moved really quick to get it over here from the mainland. We do raise lettuce here on the island, but cabbages, on the other hand, are far more durable. And so my guess on it is that because of the durable nature of the cabbage is how it got so adapted to the cuisine here. Anyhow, every time I bring up growing cabbages, and I go, hey, you need some cabbage plants, we go, oh, rat lungworm. It has become one of the coconut telegraph issues here on the island. I actually have hardly ever met any people that had it. Not everybody runs around and says, oh yeah, I had that stuff. So there may be a few people that I'm familiar with that have contracted this, that I didn't know about. But I am one. Okay, I had a case of it when it first got here, and I've never had another case of it since because we start doing things in a certain way to make sure that this doesn't ever happen to us. Now, when it comes to growing leafy green vegetables, anything that you can't wash or can't scrub can be a problem. And so I grow my lettuce often in tubs with copper bands around them. I've got numerous videos about rat lungworm, about raising lettuce in tubs, copper bands, and so on. So I'm not going to repeat too much of that. But you can exclude slugs by banding containers with copper foil. It's available both in nurseries, on rolls by Surefire, and it's available also on Amazon. I've gotten it both places. That will create an exclusion that slugs won't cross. But when it comes to cabbage, cabbage is a fairly hard vegetable, all right? It's not like lettuce. The leaves are not very soft. And so if you plant your cabbages and when you harvest you find that slugs had crawled in underneath the cabbage plant, the cabbage plant can be peeled down to begin with. Most of us will peel the cabbages when we bring them in from the garden. And so you can peel a cabbage down and you can remove damage from slugs. You can also take a cabbage, put it under a faucet, and scrub it well, too. Plus, at least half of the recipes where we use cabbage, we use it cooked. And so it doesn't matter once it's cooked. But let's go take a look at my cabbages. Well, right here is a clump of fat and happy cabbages. You'll notice that they're planted rather close together. I usually plant my cabbages in double rows, triangulated at about 12-inch spacing, so that one cabbage sticks out one way, one sticks out the other way, and so on. The denser the cabbage is planted within reason, the less weeds you have. So that's the main reason I do it in double rows. It tends to mulch the weeds well. Okay, so right here we have a beautiful head of cabbage. This is Copenhagen Market variety, and this right here is a Portuguese cabbage knife. Okay, you can take this knife and you can reach in here with it, find the main stem, push it into the main stem, turn it both ways, and pop, up she comes, just like that. Then we turn our head over and go like that, and like that, and like that, and maybe one more right here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. Head of cabbage. Yeah, almost as big as my head. It's a good sized head. Yeah. And as you'll see, hardly any damage on it. There's a little bit of chewing on here that is from the cabbage worm. Now, the cabbage worm is not really a very big problem. Now, for people who have a hard time looking at holes in leaves, you're probably going to want to do something about it. Here you can see the holes. Yeah, that's the cabbage worm. It wasn't the slug. There are no slugs in this lettuce, or in this. There are no slugs in this cabbage. It's the cabbage worm, the green worm. It's a white butterfly, flies around. You can use BT or spinosad. These are bacterial controls that will work on that creature. In my mind, I don't like spraying anyway, and there just isn't enough trouble with it. Okay, on broccoli, all it ever eats is the leaves. It never eats the curd anyway. On cabbages, if you're harvesting timely, like this, they don't get very far into it anyway. And besides, the birds tend to eat the darn things. Yeah, every once in a while, the birds do me a favor around here. So if you take a look at the plant where I cut, I have left the leaves in place. I only took off the head. What will happen is several smaller heads will likely emerge from the same stump, and we'll get softball-sized cabbages. I usually try to thin them so it's only 2 or 3 per root. They'll be a little bigger that way, but you can get a second cutting of cabbage. It's entirely possible. Well, and since we're out here in the garden, I may as well toss in the fact that we have tomato success. Now, I seldom count my tomato chickens until they've hatched, but I've never seen a crop of tomatoes in Puna like these. They're almost completely free of all diseases. They are setting fruit nicely. On the far end of the row out there is purple zebras, which actually a lot of them seem to be more orange, and so anybody that got purple zebra from me and it comes out orange, don't worry, it looks like that's kind of purpley orange. Over here in the foreground with the flowers all over them, that is mountain merit, and in the next row over here by the weed block, that's skyway. Skyway is starting to set up fruit. Mountain merit has done a pretty darn good job over here. You can see it's fruit there. We got fruit underneath in here. They're coming along pretty good. And as you can see, corn is being super beautiful also. Doing just fine. Hang loose, folks. Aloha. Thanks for watching.